You think this person's life is they're having a great time. They're rich. So you justify like, okay, well, I can take this money from them because, they're living an opportunity. And sometimes people in Africa, I've noticed this, they can do things like post pictures as if they're doing very well. So people back home in Africa can believe that.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. What's good, everybody? It's your boy O'Shea Duke Jackson back at it again with another episode of the Repat Podcast. Of course, we are now without two of our members because of the Easter break. Maintain is celebrating his birthday, and Jonita is somewhere up country, but I got my good brother and friend to fill in for them, the world famous Otto Brian. Let them know what's up.
Booyaka! Otto Brian in the building.
Yeah.
Yeah. Here in the Kingana podcast. Ugandan content creator, gynecologist. Let's go.
Part-time pastor.
Part-time pastor, part-time non-pastor. Yeah, I like to play around.
He's a very talented young man.
Yeah, man.
Okay, so this is shout out to brother Kelvin who supports me on my other page, but he I have a main YouTube channel which I don't talk about these issues there. But there's a Nigerian lady. Shout out to Summer Aku Vlogs. The name of the video is called Nigerian in Diaspora in Tears. Her family in Nigeria took all her money, but never built the house. So again, this is what I would consider pidgin English. It's kind of hard to follow unless you're Nigerian. Then Nigerians, when they speak English, it's a little, West Africans, it's a little more difficult to, East Africans I can understand a little bit better. But let's see what's going on here, and then we'll try to capture what we think is the real idea, and then we'll come back.
He buy the phone finish, he never reach a week. Okay, send me where you don't do reach. He said the phone don't fall for water, that's why Pikinte drop the phone for water. Okay, how much for new phone again? He said the phone will be say costing now 45,000, okay. I still said the 45,000 naira.
All right, so let me just stop there. I'm already lost. So I know y'all lost. But I think what happens is, I don't know where the young lady is. Somewhere in the diaspora, I would assume. Where Africans go. There's the Middle East. It could be Europe. It could be the United States.
Yeah.
So she's working there. And like most Africans that go to the diaspora, they're going there because of an opportunity. And really, they would love to establish themselves back where they're at.
Yeah.
So who do you trust the most? Typically, it is your family, right?
Your family.
So your family is brokering these deals because you're busy working. Like a lot of times, I went to Dubai. I saw so many brothers and sisters from Uganda in Dubai. If you go to Qatar, at the airport, at the Doha airport, you see so many Africans just checking the luggage or checking as you go through the screening there with your baggage and stuff. And so these people are making decent money, especially in Qatar. I think Qatar is a little bit better than Dubai. So they're trying to establish themselves, knowing that their visa at some point will run out. They'll never get citizenships in these places unless they're in America or Europe. So they're trying to establish themselves to build wealth there. And the family's receiving the money, supposed to be doing something. And then when they come back, they find out that the family did not do anything. And that's what she's explaining. My question is to you, Mr. Otto Brian, as a person living here, have you heard of these horror stories also?
Yeah. I've heard of such stories, especially on TikTok, Ugandan TikTok. Yeah, I hear a lot of stories about, Ugandan TikTok is full of those, they call them kadamas.
What does that mean?
Kadama is like I don't know how to explain it well, but what I can picture is these people who leave the country and go out to Dubai to hustle.
Is it different than Basama?
Basama is more of a baller.
Oh.
Yeah. When you say Musama, it's more of a baller.
Okay.
But a Kadama is like a hustler. You can even the names are even you can even tell by the names.
Kadama. I'm learning.
So I've heard more stories about these kadamas who go out to hustle. Whatever small money they get, they send. Then on sending back, maybe they send it to a family member for whatever reason, maybe to buy land or to construct or to start up a business or to buy a car. At the end of the day, when they come back, they don't find anything. It's like an empty space. Or like everything just gets swindled. Yeah, so I've had a lot of stories about that. Yeah, it happens.
So let me ask you this, because I see in most countries in sub-Saharan Africa, South Sudan, Uganda, Kenya, Ghana. I mean, these countries. You see a lot of the blame being put on in the government or the powers that be, whatever government it is. They're always like, okay, so the government has bad policies, so therefore the things are not progressing. But now, when you look at these remittances that are coming into the country, like Nigeria has $30 billion and things like this. And do you think that it is solely, when you hear situations like this, which are not publicized so much, we hear them just,
Yeah, just hearsay.
Yeah. So do you think that this is what is really also causing the underdevelopment in Africa, or is it the government that is causing the underdevelopment in Africa?
Obviously, Africans just being Africans as usual. This whole drama, it's not just an issue that comes out of nowhere. If you had to look at it from the root cause, in the first place, why these people are leaving the country is because in their country where they're living, they have failed to find opportunity, they have failed to find jobs. There's high unemployment rate. So, because of that, which is common in most African countries, these people are forced to go and look for greener pastures. So end up in Qatar, Dubai, Canada, whatever countries I've gone to try and look for. Because at least when you leave Uganda and you go to those countries, their pay is quite fair as compared to
here,
an ordinary job here.
Yes.
Yeah. Much as there, of course, they will tax you and all that. But at the end of the day, there's something that you keep.
Right.
That is more so better than. So these guys go out to hustle because of the root cause problem, which is African governance, which is all shady. So, yeah. So when they go, they hustle, they do all they are doing. Unfortunately, either way, an African is always an African. The Africans are quite shady to an extent that, of course, dealing with an African is not the same as dealing with some European, or because Africans are quite shady, like because of our system that we are born in.
Yes.
Like now, like Uganda has some quite shady people. So you have left the country, you've gone out.
Yes.
And I'm talking out of experience because I've dealt with a lot of shady people here. You're working, you're sending money.
Yes.
You're working, you're there, you'll be like, at least I'm working, whatever money I'm getting.
Yes.
I know I have my plot of land. I know I have my car. Or I know my business has started up. I have my stock or something. So I work with that comfort. But the people you're dealing with may not have the same thinking as you. Yeah. So you keep sending your money, whether it's a family member. Money is the root cause of all evil. So you send your money, you think it's doing something good. At the end of the day, by the time you finish and you come back to check on your investment, there's nothing on the ground. Yeah, you get your heart attack, and that's when reality actually hits you.
Right.
Yeah. So I've had a lot of stories about that.
Let me kind of talk about this, and I'm ashamed to say this, right? This is sad. But as an American, I was sending my money here to Uganda, and things were developing without me being here.
Yeah.
And the sad part about it was these people were not my family members. Like I had just like I met like really like you were like I was gonna give you your props. You're a really good person. I've known you for like 2 years. And you've never asked me for anything. And Africa has great people. Like as much as we talk about shit, we have great people like Out of Brian. Rest in peace, Kim the comic.
Yeah, sure.
We have so many good people in Africa that we don't recognize them. And I want to give a shout out to like Jonita, Rachel, people like that, where you can just you send them thousands of dollars, and nobody's ever taken anything. And it burdens me now because now these are people I just met within the last like no more than 5 years.
Sure.
Yeah. So I've met these people. But imagine as a stranger, you meet these individuals, but you're from a place, your mom birthed you, right? Your dad birthed you. They raised you. You love them, your brother, your sister. And they're the ones that are stealing from you. Now, I want to talk about something that I've noticed is it happens in every family, not just here in Africa. There's a level of like entitlement.
Yeah.
I know you, so therefore, because I know you, you owe me X, Y, and Z. And parents have this all over the world. I raised you. There was a popular saying in Black America, I brought you in this world, I can take you out the world. I don't know if they said that here, but they said it back there, right? So I can give you life. I have the ability to end your life because I brought you here. Yeah. But the reality is that the main thing is, I think that with Africans, when you go to the West, you don't know what the person is doing to earn the money. You don't know their experience. And I think a lot of times people in Africa who've never been to America, you think this person's life is they're having a great time. They're rich. So you justify like, okay, well, I can take this money from them because, they're living an opportunity. And sometimes people in Africa, I've noticed this, they can do things like post pictures as if they're doing very well. So people back home in Africa can believe that.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, because even here, like you go meet a person from Uganda and you say, oh, you're from America, they automatically attribute that to you're very wealthy.
Yeah.
Now, Americans are typically the most wealthiest people in the world. They're in the top 1% in comparison to most people in the world. But that doesn't mean that person is wealthy. That person still has bills to pay. That person's earning, but that person still has bills at the same level. Their rent is...
Whatever he earns is paying, is going out.
Just like here, right? So now I think what happens is that a lot of Africans that are not understanding what this person is having to do. I've seen Africans in America and the task that they have to, even they went to school here, most Americans are not going to be like, okay, so you went to McCary, what does that mean? You need to go ahead and retrain. So now you're working at a low-level job for the most part in any European or African country. You're not coming in working a high-level job. You're working a low-level job. You're working many hours a day. You're trying to fight your way through the economy. And then, your parents demand that money because you're going over there. Like I had a lady from Uganda. This is a true story. She said, O'Shea, my brother is taking the money that I send him every month. Can I send the money to you? You're there and give the money to my mother. I was like, I just can't fathom that with the relationship I have with my mom, that she would do that to me. You know what I mean?
You have a lot of trust.
Everything that we have right now in this business, my mom did it for me. You know what I mean? And I'm not saying that African parents don't do it for them, but I want to also say this. A lot of the development we don't have in Africa is not because of African government. It's because of what we have treated, how we have treated some of our brothers and sisters in the diaspora. And our brothers and sisters in the diaspora, we have to give them props. And shortly thereafter, there's Africa Day. I know here we have the Basamas that are coming in there June or July or December. These people are working their off to bring money into the country. They've left here. They've been talked about. They're in a new place. They don't have friends. They have a different dialect. They like different local foods. They have to, adjust because you can for example, you can go and pee outside on the side of the road there and nobody says anything. Try that in Boston. Any little thing you do can get you deported in America or in most Dubai or something like that, right? So these people have to learn very quick to adapt and they work very hard and work very well. So, and they're sending more money into Africa than the Chinese government gives aid or the U.S. gives aid. But we don't appreciate these people, and yet these are the people we are stealing from. as a community.
Yeah.
And these are people who can't vote. Like, think about this. When they go to Dubai or England, they can't vote in most countries. Their citizens, Nigerians, can't vote there. They have to be here. And yet we're stealing from them. So if you go look at the comment section, I'll try to post some of the comments there. You'll see some negative comments about blacks, Africans. This is Africa. This is how Africa is. Africa. You said it's Africa's shitty. So what happens there? As blacks, we start to say, man, there's no hope in Africa. Why should we trust there? Because they will steal. If your own family will steal, what will a stranger do for you?
Yeah, how about the stranger?
Yes. So how do we overcome that, do you think?
The only way to overcome that. Personally, I don't think there's a proper way of. I don't think there's a way, like a specific way we can overcome that. Because reason being, this all depends on the people that you're leaving your trust on.
Right.
As you go to work in those countries, Arabian countries or wherever, Europe, it depends on the person, whoever you decide to trust. You can decide to trust someone, and that person ends up messing you up. Yeah. Or you can, either way, you can decide to trust someone, and that person indeed does exactly what you have been. Yeah. But of course, these guys, when they leave, most of them leave, they end up trusting their family members, yeah. Because they know, of course, family is family, and I don't expect anything from family, but at the end of the day, human beings are like that. Some people change. So the best thing that you can do as you go out to work, personally, what I think is work, but save your money. If you're not sure of the person, just work, but save your money. Put your money in the account.
Yes.
Keep working, save it, succeed. So that by the time you get done, when your contract is done, wherever you are, you travel, you come back, then you can get your money and do exactly what you want to do.
That is perfect. And I wanted to say this, like, as a foreigner, I've had very good experience with Britam. And I'm not trying to downplay anybody. I know there's Sandlam and there's Zeno and other investment firms, but I've used Britam. And Britam is great. I think, like, if you're from the diaspora and you can get Britam and you're from Ugandan, deal with Britam. Britam gives you like 8 to 9 to 10% return on your money.
Oh, wow.
And over a year. So typically it's about 0.7% per month. So last month we had a really good month with Britam. And I've been dealing with Britam for 5 to 6 months.
With Britam, is it an insurance?
Britam is an insurance, but they also do mutual funds. So we have an account with the umbrella fund. They have also stocks. So if you're not sure, there are financial things like Britam, or you can do something like buy local bonds, or you can buy what do you call those things if you don't buy bonds? You call them, I don't know. Yeah, anything. So the bond, the government even sells bonds also. So if you don't want to tie your money up with people, because people, like most people, don't know how to handle money.
Yeah, exactly.
That's a trait. Like my mom, who I love so much, she's not a financial expert. So I cannot really believe, although she does a great job at, helping me out, but she's not a financial expert. If I want to go to a financial expert, I'm going to go to Fidelity in America. I go to Vanguard. I go to Charles Schwab. Here in Africa, I believe that for the diaspora, you're going over, leave your family out of financial planning because they're more likely to feel entitled to what you have.
Yeah. Sure.
Because they don't understand your experience and they don't care. You're their brother, their sister, but they feel like they can steal from you. Happens all over Africa, right? And then, like, if they steal from you, you're not going to, like, whoop their ass or something like that. Which, because, I mean, for me, I'm going to try. You know what I mean? But look at start getting financial planning. And if we can do something on this podcast, that's one thing that a lot of Africans and diaspora need to do. Before you go, look at your instrumentation of financial plans you can do. There's always Britam. They're here in Sandlam, but Britam is awesome. You can keep your money in places like things that are established for over 40, 50 years, I would say. Not these startups offering these high rates of return. But in Africa, I think in Nigeria, there's piggy vests, right? So if you know that these things work, keep your money there. Because I don't give my mom money to invest for me. I have financial advisors to invest for me. Okay? So you tell me, and that's the thing like a lot of diaspora need to do. Stop giving your money to people who are not qualified.
Exactly.
So even if they do pay for the things, they just don't know, right? So it's better for you to be able to control your situation. Go and look for what's the best bond or the best stock or the best mutual fund or index fund. And then talk to financial institutions. And now Britain has opened up for the Black diaspora, especially the Kenyan diaspora, Ugandan diaspora. Invest with them. They're going to, for sure, keep your money safe. If you need your money back, you get it back in 72 hours. So it's better to know. So I have the money. My family doesn't have the money. I can give them whatever I want them to have. Because the reality is this. I'm less about my own family. They're still going to be in the same financial situation as they've always been. You can give them $100,000 a year, ain't nothing going to change them. Because they don't know how to manage money.
How to handle money, yeah.
And the thing is, when they die, like my granddad died when he had a reverse mortgage. He had no problem leaving his mortgage to me as he passed away, or to us. So people as older, they don't care about your next generation. They don't about that. So if they don't, you need to care about, and we can love them like we want to love them, but there's a limit. People who are not financial experts don't need to manage money. Let the financial experts who understand the markets manage your money. And I will always say, if you're coming as a diaspora, Britain. I love Britain. They ain't paying me to say this.
I'm going to look out Britain because the way you've emphasized Britain, it seems there's something good come out of there.
Britain, we put money in every month. Personally, it's there. The return is consistent. It's not life-changing, but it's consistent. Okay? So if you want to leave your money there, leave it there. Stand big. Although they're not open today on Easter, but they're good. ABSA. Talk to financial or whatever you're banking in Dubai, or if you're banking in USA, you're banking in ING in Europe. Talk to them. Ask them what your plan is. How to do it. Do never give your money to your family to let them.
Let me hope that is not it. Because a lot of you people end up trusting your family members. You guys, when it comes to money, people change.
Oh,
someone whom you think is your brother, when you're in Dubai and the money is here in Uganda, and a lot of problems, that money that you keep sending, he or she will end up using that money with an assumption that they will pay it back to you. But with time, you realize that the money is actually gone and you never see it. I've experienced it. At least I'm speaking out of experience. You cannot trust a human being.
Brian, I mean, you recently, somebody stole your car.
Yes, sure. That's what I'm saying. I've experienced. Yes. Someone whom you trusted. This is the guy, I trusted this man. Reason being, I started with him. From high school, I was with him. Senior 2, senior 3.
Yeah.
Up to senior 6, you can imagine. Even up to senior 6, we were still in touch. So, time flies. You meet the person. You still think that you're dealing with the same person who you started with. You forget that people change.
Right.
Yeah. You always forget that people change. You know, oh, this guy was my OB. When we were in school, we used to go, we even used to shower together. Yeah. We used to have fun. We used to... So you think that after some years have passed, you're still dealing with the same human being, forgetting that people go through different situations that change them. People travel. Someone can go to South Sudan and deal with the South Sudanese who change him. By the time the person comes back to Uganda, that's a different person. But for you say, oh, that's my OB. So you try to make business with him, you try to deal with him, and the person ends up messing you up. And you get shocked to be like, oh, my Obi has done this to me. But yes, that is it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's what's up. Don't trust anybody, man.
Yeah, and to say this, like, because I saw the situation that happened with your car. The guy stole your car for like a month and a half and
Stole my car, disappeared with it,
wrecked the car.
wrecked it. Man.
Yeah, and one of the things is like what I've seen out of Brian being able to do here in Uganda is like where you were like 4 or 5 years ago, you're not where you are now. So sometimes people, I hate to say this, but this is true in the black world. People are can be jealous of your progress.
Sure.
But you don't necessarily know that. And a lot of times I had to realize that a lot of people that I was trying to help were the ones that really wanted me out, or people who were jealous, or people who hated on me. And I didn't know that. I was like, well, no, they're not mad at me or jealous of me or anything like that. But you'd be surprised, People don't look at your hard work that you put in every day to do what you're doing.
Sure.
Even your own family, they look at how you're doing. You have a car, and they look at, why do he got a car? I should have a car. So I need to take his car, or I deserve to have his car.
Yeah.
And they're not looking at, or he's in the United States, so he's rich. People can tell themselves anything to justify stupidity or what they want to do. And unfortunately, as a people that we love them, what you figure out is that you love them more than you love you, and they actually can hate you.
Exactly.
So people feel like no matter what you do for them, like a lot of times, I don't know about African culture as abroad, but what I've heard, because I know that I'm going to have people try correcting me there as African American in the comments. But some people feel like I birthed you here and you're a part of my retirement plan, or you need to pull your brothers up. So now you're here to support your brothers. Like your life is not your own. Yeah. Your life is you're dedicated to the family because we had these kids as a retirement pension, and you as a worker should be bringing your brothers in and things like that. I know a lot of Africans, when they go to America or any place, they have that pressure. I need to bring my family up. And I mean, it's a good thing to do something for your people, but you got to realize like that these people are not going to do nothing for you. If you go broke tomorrow, they will not help you. They will not be there. And then they most likely will laugh at you if you come back to Africa broke.
Of course.
Right? And so these are the same people who won't help you for the most part, but they'll be the ones doing the most talking about you. So at the same part, it's okay to help people. But primarily the biggest thing is help yourself.
Yeah, help yourself. Help yourself. You may help people, but don't forget to help yourself.
Right.
Because at the end of the day, all this is up to you. It all falls back to you. Yeah. Human beings are just being human beings. Yeah, that is it.
That's it. So you look at the people in the Nigerian diaspora, the Jamaican diaspora, they're working to want to develop their country. And there are people that are not with the same mindset. And I've heard stories of like people send money back to the dudes in Haiti, and the dude is buying prostitutes with the money every week.
Mm.
He's partying with the money every week, and he's lying. I've heard that in Kenya. I've heard so many horror stories. Family members doing this. And then we're talking about why is Africa not developing, and then you blame Ruto or you blame the president.
Yeah.
And a lot of the things is that a lot of development in Africa needs to come from the private sector.
Sure.
The Africans are sending the black world is putting enough money. Like, look at the year return, billions of dollars, right? We have enough money to develop sectors. So what do we do with the money when we get it here? We cannot be talking about Africa is rising, and yet we have these evidences of people stealing money from the world, from our people. And that's the problem. Like if you're a person listening to this, you're in the diaspora, you love your family, you can trust them. The land deals you want to get, I know you want to get it, but I'll tell you one thing. Land is not going to be so much, come here and do everything you need to do before you let them do it. I know it's crazy, but you stay here and you develop your project.
Perfectly said.
You need to be on the ground. Like Kinganda.
You need to be on the ground.
Yes, as much as I trust Joan or Rachel, I trust myself more.
Exactly.
To be here. Because if you're not here, like they said, if the cat is away, the mouse will play. Yeah, what do you have to say about that, brother?
Yeah, that is it. If you're not on the ground, when the cat is not around, the mice will have to play.
Yes.
Yeah. So if you're making your investments, whatever you do, get someone you can rely on. Because of course, as much as there are a lot of fraudsters, there are also some good people. There are actually people who are willing to help you out.
Right.
And they are really genuine. We all have those friends who are, you can know that this dude is really genuine.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and he can really help you out. So as much as you do your things, just if you really want to start sending money as you are, get someone who's genuine, someone you can trust. Whether it's a family member or it's a friend that you've grown up with, whom you've gone up with some for some good time and you really trust. Yeah, stick to that person who has tested the what they call it? Who has gone through the test of time. Yeah. You can stick to that person and let that person take you through. But always remember that you can always you're the main person at the end of the day. Yeah. Much as you trust someone, it all falls back to you. If this person messes up, it's up to you. Yeah, that's it. So my message to the Kadama, please. Be steady, be sharp. Yeah, you've gone to hustle, but as you hustle, please be sharp. Because otherwise, whatever you're hustling for is worthless at the end of the day.
Right.
Yeah, and you end up losing it all because you don't want to what? You don't want to also be sharp. You're dealing with Africans. Be sharp. Yeah, coordinate. Coordination is key. Yes, that is it.
Yeah, and in closing, I will say the same. Like, I don't really know as my experience, but just for me, being an American coming from the diaspora where I don't know a whole lot, my success being here is that I don't know a whole lot. So people, they think they know what they know, and then they find out they don't know a whole lot, even if you're from here. So I would say, number one, if you're going to build any project here, if you have the capital to do it, the first thing you want to know is, if I'm going to build a house, what is the process of building a house? I cannot trust my mother to understand the process of building a house. Maybe I want to go through certain builders, contractors.
Engineers, what.
Yeah, I know you want to come back to Africa and establish yourself as a big person. Yeah, I've made it here. It's important to be somebody big in your community. I get that. But if you don't know how building a house works, you're just like somebody like me who doesn't know how a house works because you don't know that industry. You don't know what things cost. And you need to know. And there's no Google search for how it works. Sometimes you need to do the research. And you can't give money to people to do the research because it's your money. So now as you start to think about it on those terms, as long as you have the money, you control the money. If you lose the money, it's fine. But you never let anybody else lose your money for you under any circumstances.
Exactly.
Because then what happens is you're not gonna like your family anymore. You can never talk to them again because they can say they're sorry, but if they lost $50,000 of your money, you're not gonna want to see them for Christmas.
Exactly.
Like if my mom took $50,000 from me, I would probably never talk to her again.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, if she just did that, there's no way I'm gonna be like, as hard as I work, right? I would have a problem with speaking with her about that. You know what I mean? I would be upset. I would probably talk to her, but I would but let's not get that because I'm your son, so I should forgive you. Because people think different things. And when people want to get money, they'll tell you anything they want to get.
Exactly.
Yeah. So protect yourself. Look at the financial institutions. Give your money or invest your money in institutions that are professionals in those respective. I use, for me personally, Fidelity. I've been a Fidelity customer for years. I buy stocks. I buy my pension through who? Fidelity America. In Africa, in Uganda, I do Britam.
Okay.
People have been in the business. I don't go to this person, this middleman. This person's a liar. I'm probably
you hate middlemen.
Listen, these people, I probably have more money than them anyway. I can tell you anything. I know this person. I know that person. I know this person. I don't care who you know. I know Britam, or I know Sandlam, or I know Stanbic. These are professionals in money management. So I don't give it to somebody who's poor. Poor people always do poor things, which is why they're poor. It doesn't mean that you don't love them. But most people, you've been giving them money, they won't put the money to use in an entrepreneurial or astute
Setting,
business way. Yeah. So it's how it is. Most people that in our families are not business people. So you can't trust non-business people to perform business functions. It's almost like asking a cat to bark. Cats don't bark.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, they meow. But any last words?
Yeah, I think I already stressed out my point. You guys, please. We are tired of seeing you crying. Because every time by there is full TikTok. Me, I've seen people crying left and right. Kadamas. Kadamas, Uganda TikTok. I see you guys crying. They have robbed me. I've spent all my time in Dubai. Where is you, Qatar? What I've been sending back, I've not been I can't see it. My family members robbed me. My man has been lost. So please, guys, you either find, at least learn from your mistakes or
Right.
other people's experiences.
Right.
Yeah, you make a change, man. Try to be sharp. Think, use your head. Think of the best way you can put your money into use. Either you're entrusting it to somebody whom you trust, either you're depositing it directly to your account and you'll come and sort it out when you're done.
Right.
Either you are making investments that side where you are without even whatever.
Right.
Just be sharp at whatever you do. This is Africa. You're dealing with people. Africa is not for the weak.
Right.
That's what's up.
And like Reverend James Cleveland, who passed away many years ago, he had a statement that was trending all over the gospel world. Everybody in the church ain't holy. Yeah. And now I would say the same thing. Everybody in your family don't love you.
Exactly.
You think they love you, but they don't. So some people have no problem with you dying. Like, look at the people that die and people fight over their money. You think people love you, they don't. Right? And that's just a part of human nature. So protect yourself. Make sure that your projects in Africa, if you want to go to Dubai or you want to go work in America, why are you going to work? Maybe you should figure that out before you go. If you want to go to the diaspora and work, why are you going there? To make some money? Okay, to do what? Then you figure out. But subscribe, hit the bell, we're out.